All right, guys and gals, it's about that time of day again here, folks. Newsletter time. JJ here, School Trade. Sidewaysmarkets.com is our blog address. Welcome to your nightly newsletter. It is Tuesday evening, November 4th, 2014. I hope you guys voted today here in the U.S. A Super Tuesday, right? The first Tuesday of November. A lot of important stuff being voted on here in Los Angeles, right, at our corporate headquarters here at School of Trade. Hope that you guys voiced your opinion out there, right, and voted today. Fantastic day we had today in the trade room. Markets were they busy today. Big drop overnight on crude. I know. Last night on the newsletter, I told you guys, don't you dare sell that crude at those lows. And, well, we're going to talk about that in just a moment. I know it's not easy to watch that market drop without you, but you did the right thing. Now we're going to give you some strategies for tomorrow. Gold, real choppy right now. Boy, if you traded that consolidated range we gave you last night on gold, you had a great day today selling the highs there on gold. Russell, just about pulled back and just about ready. I'm going to tell you guys tonight why we have to push higher here on this Russell. We have to push higher here on this Russell. So I got a lot to talk about. Big drop on crude. Consolidation on gold. We're just about where those buyers got to start stepping in here on the Russell. And boy, oh boy, we're going to jam-packed newsletter in store for you guys and gals tonight. Before we jump into the charts, before we talk about what we expect for tomorrow, I want to remind you guys, make sure you're watching the video on our blog here at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're not watching the video right now on our blog at Sideways Markets, there's a link right below the video if you're watching this on our YouTube page. So find that link and follow that link over here to Sideways Markets. I'll wait for you, right? Just pause the video. I'll wait for you. 3 reasons why I want you to make sure you're over here at sidewaysmarkets.com. Reason number 1, you can download all of the charts that I have worked so hard for you guys tonight. Yeah, that's right. You do not even need to be a member at schooloftrade.com to get your hands on all the goodies here tonight. So download all the charts. You can click the link right below tonight's video. Second thing here, I have a special free pass for anyone who's not a member yet at schooloftrade.com and would like to see what it feels like to be in our trade room, right? If you're curious, what does it feel like to be in our trade room? What does it mean to be a member at School of Trade, right? What does our trade room look like? What does it sound like? How do we take these trades? How do we actually get into the trades that we talk about on our newsletter every evening? I've got a free pass for you. Upper left-hand corner. Click on that little free pass icon and you get yourself a free pass here to come out and join us in our trade room. Third thing here, right above my ugly mug, you'll see a spot there for your name and your email address. We have a nightly newsletter mailing list here at School of Trade. I would love to send you an email every evening. That way you know when my nightly newsletter is being posted that evening, right? So make sure you register for your nightly newsletter list and don't forget to grab your free pass. Now, if you grab the free pass or you register for our newsletter, don't forget I'm going to send you a verification email. So check your email and don't forget to check your junk or your spam folder there so I can send you that verification email. We can make sure that you got the email and approve me to keep sending these emails to you in the future. All right, guys? Helmets fastened, right? Helmets on, seatbelts fastened. Yeah. English language. Let's rock and roll here. First of all, starting with the mighty mini Russell, right? The TF, one of my favorite of the E-minis, right? Stock index futures. Now, the Russell right now has pushed all the way to these highs. As you can see, we're only a hop, skip, and a jump away, right, from these all-time highs again at 1206. So we're going in the direction of the all-time highs, right? Trying to play catch up with the NASDAQ, the Dow, and the S&P. The Russell has been the laggard here back to those all-time highs. But you can see we got all this resistance here overhead, right? We're running right into the top of that channel. We're running right into that resistance zone overhead. So bottom line is we have to be very careful right here to be buying at these highs. So we've been waiting for price to pull back off those highs so we can start buying it again. Let's zoom in a little bit closer now and let's take a look here on this Russell. Take a look at where we're waiting for price to pull back. Now, if you've been listening to this newsletter for the past few weeks, you've heard me kind of complain a little bit about the fact that we got some great pullbacks here, but then we made new high. We never pulled back far enough before making a new high again. So we have definitely been making up for that big drop that we saw a few months ago, getting almost, like I showed you guys in that last chart, almost back to that 1200 area on the Russell, and of course up to that all-time high at 1206.1. So we know we're bullish right now. I know my trend is bullish right now. I got higher highs, I got higher lows, we got green clouds, right? Heck, I've even got some indicators up here in the upper left-hand corner telling me we're bullish, baby, right? So I want to be a buyer, but I don't like buying at the highs, right? I don't like buying at the highs. Now, every once in a while, you can buy the highs and make some money on it, but, you know, buying the high, you've got to get lucky to make money on that. And historically, being lucky, sure, I'll give it to you one day, maybe 2 days. But trying to get lucky in the markets day after day after day, well, there's a graveyard of trade accounts, right, that have been dead for a long time because they tried to buy those highs consistently every day, right? You're not going to make any money that way long term. So we'll talk about crude because crude sold off the lows, and yeah, you would have made money on that short last night on crude oil, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. I got a plan for you guys for tomorrow. So we're trying to wait patiently here to pull back off these highs, right? We go up, we're trying to get a pullback here and going higher. So right now, those buyers on the Russell are really starting to get excited right now because we got the 53.7. And remember, guys, we have not been able to get this price to pull back, right? We had an opportunity back here, right, down at 1120. If you guys recall, I was really hoping we were going to get 1120. Never get to pull back to 1120, right? We go up, break back up, looking for a pullback again, and now hopefully here we go. Now, if you're a member of mine, you'll notice this is my second leg down here, right, after we've broken that channel. So we should be, this is why I said at the beginning, I'm hoping we get down to that 53.7, but I would imagine we're going to get some buyers coming in the tape here soon. Ideally, though, I want to buy this 53.7. I want to buy this 53.9 to 48.6, 41.1 to 36.7. So we're almost there right now on the Russell. We are almost there right now on this Russell. Now, this is why I said earlier, here's my 16 anchor chart. This is why I said earlier, we need to see these buyers, this is go time for them, right? We've pulled all the way back to this short-term support level here at 58.3, right? We'd like to go a little bit further down to that 53.7, right, which is right back here. But at the same time, though, you can see, though, we are right inside of that support level. It's sitting at we're sitting at major support. And we need, like I said, these buyers, this should be the time here, right? This should be the time when these buyers start to kick into high gear. So we've got a green light right now, short-term buyers, green light to be a buyer here with a target up top at 72.2, and then, of course, back up at the high here. And then I gave you guys a target on this thing here on the 32, right, up at 86.1, okay? So again, broken down channel here, right? You got your two legs down. That should now, we should start seeing, right, that attempt to retest those highs again. 1186.1 is going to be a major target for you guys overhead here on that Russell. You can see, though, right now, we are really in crunch time right here, short term for these buyers. We're really in crunch time. Scenario 1, we go higher. I'm using that 72.2 for my target. Scenario 2 is that we consolidate, right? And if we consolidate, just stay patient and wait for it to break, right? Okay, so beware of that consolidation going in here overnight. And then scenario 3 is we slip back below that 58.3, and then we're going to go down to that 53.7, right? So 53.7, that was the level off the 32, that 53.7, that's going to be the next spot that we're going to look to buy, right? So if it happens to push lower, If you're a seller, you can sell it short down to 54.5, and then we're going to be looking for that buy up from there. All right, so it's a real sloppy area here right now. We should see buyers stepping in here soon, right? So be on the lookout here on the Russell for those buying opportunities. We're waiting for that pullback on the Russell. Moving from the mighty mini Russell to this funny yellow metal they call gold futures. Now, gold is completely oversold. We have a very strong dollar right now. That is pushing this gold down. And that dollar in the U.S., that U.S. dollar index is very strong because of weak currencies pretty much everywhere else, right? You've got a real bad situation in Europe right now. They're borderline mutiny, right, with our president of the ECB, Mr. Mario Draghi. We'll talk about that in just a moment as well. But we know right now that gold is being pushed lower because of a calm in the violence around the world. Some might call it calm. I call it the boy that cried wolf. We've had just simply so much violence this year, so much it appears that traders have pretty much said, well, just another day at the office, right? Violence in the Middle East? Yeah. What's new, right? Tell me when there isn't any violence in the Middle East. Last time I checked, it's been a couple hundred years, and they're still going strong. Okay? Gold completely oversold. It's due for a correction, right? It's definitely due for a correction. Now, gold is definitely consolidating right now ahead of Friday's non-farm payrolls. Tomorrow, though, we have a big, did I say big yet? A big meeting, kind of an emergency meeting among the ECB leaders. Okay, we've had some wild rumors now circulating about the turmoil inside the ECB, right, behind closed doors. We shall see if those are just rumors or not. But gold consolidating this week after this big drop. Big drops are usually going to mean big pops, right, as bargain hunters step in. They don't result in big pops when there's nobody there to buy. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. This should be a very, very good clue right now that as far as we're concerned, gold is very, very bearish, right? But what we're looking for is we're looking for a little bit of a jump up here so I can get into this sell zone overhead so I can get short again on this thing. I'm not going to sell these lows, but we got sell zones overhead at 1208.1, 1235.2. It's very easy to see, but we just have to stay patient for it. Now, let's get a little bit intimate here. Let's get a little bit intimate with this little wedge we have going on down here, right? Let's get a little bit closer. We take that 64, we go down to our 32. Now, you get a much better look here now at that big collapse, right? I mean, we literally saw this market move. It was all within 1 week, right? The 21st, it was a week and a half. Yep, so 10 days there, right? So pretty much 2 business weeks, a week and a half there. So a week and a half to get all the way. I mean, this thing literally just collapsed all the way down. Irrational price action. Everybody clearly reacting to that strong dollar. And so this strong move down over the past 2 weeks, but now we see the price action is consolidating, so we have to adjust our strategy here. Not really our strategy, but we have to adjust what type of strategy that we're going to use. This is not a trending market right now. It's a long-term trend with a short-term, range-bound, consolidated market. Now, I'm still bearish long-term, so I'm definitely going to look to sell the 1283.3. I'll sell the 1198, the 1208, the 19.5, the 1235. There is clearly no shortage of sell zones overhead. What there is a shortage of right now is personality to push this thing higher, because if it can go higher here, we will definitely be looking to get right back to selling it again. Let's keep going though. Let's keep zooming in, because something tells me this is where we're going to make our money right now. If we can't change the game, we've got to play the game. And because I can't change the way the markets move, because I can't change the fact that tomorrow we have a big meeting at the ECB, Friday we have non-farm payrolls, and we have a strong dollar right now. I can't change that. So what am I going to do? Well, let's figure out how we profit from this narrow range. This is what I would call a consolidating range. Now, we did get some great sells here off the highs. If you remember from last night's newsletter, my exact words were, Long-term downtrend, right? I can see the indicator is bright red. So long-term downtrend, I'm selling at these overhead resistance areas. This is nothing new, right? We talked about this last night. Don't take my word for it. If you didn't watch last night's newsletter, go back and watch last night's newsletter. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So a long-term downtrend tells me I'd like to be a seller. It's not absolutely required, but it sure is a pretty good idea. Follow that trend, right? You'll get the lucky bounces that way. It's a lot easier. So we know that when price went up higher here, we get a chance to sell these highs, that 73.6 area. That was the first one. Another sell zone overhead, 1178. Another one more, 1182.7. So those are all the areas overhead where we would love to look for a selling opportunity. Where would your targets be after you sell these highs? Well, right now on gold, my target is down at 1163.6, down to 1162.2. Now, if you like a little bit of danger, you're more than welcome to buy that low, right? Take your profit back at the high. But again, I'm going to stay focused on selling. I have targets waiting for us down bottom at 63.6, 58.3, and 53.8. So we're going to sell the highs. We can buy the lows, but again, you know what I'm talking about, right? We're going against the trend if we buy right now. So I would encourage you to stay away from buying those lows until you're simply covering a short trade and taking profit off that short, right? And stay the heck away from the middle, all right? Stay away from that middle right now on this yellow metal. We go from the gold futures over here to the crude futures, and I look at this chart and I go, oh man, I know. I told you guys not to sell this baby last night. I told you, do not. I said, do not sell without a retracement. And look what happened. $2 down last night. Now, how would you have known it was going to go $2 down? You wouldn't. There's no way to know. All right? I don't care if Alex Trebek is your uncle and Ben Bernanke is your cousin. It doesn't matter to me, right? No one is going to know that this is going to keep collapsing like that, right? So this is why I said at the beginning, if you sell the lows, yeah, you might get lucky, right? If you sold the lows, and pardon the term, but if you ignorantly sold those lows, right? If you were naive, if you were ignorant to the danger involved with selling at the low, right? Well, hey, you made some money. And that is one of the most difficult pills to swallow for new traders, isn't it? Watch. I'm going to pass out right now, fall asleep. My head is going to hit the keyboard. I'm going to buy, and oh my goodness, I made money. So I can make a complete mistake. I can do everything wrong. I can know nothing about what I'm doing, and yet I can still make a profit? Yeah, see, that is what drives a new trader to break their rules, right? To give up on their plan, right? And go too aggressive. The reality, though, is if I was to make that mistake every day this week, I would lose my shirt. So we can't sell the lows. But the reality is if you made a quote-unquote rookie mistake and sold the lows last night, hey, you made money. Right? And that's the frustrating part about being a new trader, is that you can do everything right and still lose money. You can do everything wrong and get lucky and still make money. Is it going to happen over the long term? Absolutely not. So we have to make sure that we build those good trading habits. Sometimes we're going to miss these moves. Sometimes we're going to miss these moves. I said it. Sometimes I am going to miss the move. Hey, at least we protected our capital. At least we protected ourselves against unnecessary risks. We focused on capital preservation, and that is the mark of a truly professional trader. So, even though I missed the drop overnight, right? Wouldn't say I missed it. I'm just waiting for a retracement. Crude oil finally breaks out of this consolidation. Right? Finally breaks out of consolidation. We collapse on the way down. I need this thing to get back up here so I can sell it again. We're going to 70 $70 a barrel, right? We're going to go to $70 a barrel most likely here before end of the year. But we can't be too aggressive at where we take our shots. So now this chart's a little bit scary. You can see there's a lot on this chart right now, but bear with me here. So crude oil pushed to new lows. We don't want to sell there, right? So stay patient and sell the next setup overhead. And again, I put a little comment on here because I said, I know this is frustrating to watch the price collapse, but I know a wise trader is not going to make money in the long run by selling that low. It's also very, very typical, right? It's kind of classic price action to see this strong push down and then have it just kind of consolidate here. Remember, big drops usually mean big pops. Big pops mean big drops. And the reason for that is when we see a big drop here, we're going to get some bargain hunting. We're going to get some buyers that will buy these lows, right? Like a smart buyer should. We also, of course, have sellers taking profit, which fuels, no pun intended, of course, fuels that reversal back off those lows. But here's the deal. If the bargain hunters don't start buying until 75, until 72, well, you're going to see what we're getting right now. So right now, we're seeing that consolidation because apparently those bargain hunters aren't quite as excited, right, as they might be if we were to go to 75. So here we have a consolidating range. We're going to use this consolidating range as our guide. What's my trend? Trend is clearly bearish. So we know we're looking to get short. We know we want to be a seller. Yeah, you could definitely short-term be a buyer right now. Absolutely. Right? And if you're going to buy this thing, which I'm sure a lot of you guys did here early in the session, if you're going to buy this thing here, 78.08 for a target, 78.41 for a target, 79.44, that'll be an excellent target, that key reversal line resistance there. So if you're going to buy this thing, right, you better do it now. But for the rest of us long-term traders, us wise traders here, we're going to wait to get short at 78.08. We're going to wait to get short at 78.41. We're selling 79.44. So short-term buying opportunities up to that 78.08, but then be on the lookout for those selling opportunities all the way back down. Now, we know we're looking to sell short. We know where we have those areas of resistance overhead, right, that we're looking to sell at. But let's go a little bit tighter here. Let's get a little bit tighter here, like a tiger. Let's get right zoomed in on this little, right, on this little wedge here. Let's take a better look at this because we might have, there we go. Now, just like gold, crude oil also has a big news event tomorrow. Inventories tomorrow. Just like gold, crude oil is responding to a strong dollar. Just like gold, crude oil is consolidating at this low. This might continue into tomorrow. Huge range today, right? Almost 300 ticks, almost $3 today. That's well above the average. When we see a big day on a Tuesday, Wednesday is probably going to be a little bit narrow. Big day today, narrow day tomorrow. Narrow day tomorrow, big day the following day, right? It's just like anything else, okay? We can't keep going big days back to back to back to back. So a little bit of me says, expect this narrow range to continue for tomorrow, right? A little bit of me says here, I would expect this range, right, to be our meat and potatoes here for tomorrow, right? That's probably where we're going to get the most amount of price action tomorrow, considering this narrowing range on this final 16 anchor chart. Again, I'm looking to sell. I'm going to sell these highs at 77.33 to 77.50. I'm going to sell the range overhead, 77.93 to 78.20. I've got 78.07. That is the reversal line. I have trigger zones, 78.41. These are the same levels in that prior chart. I have another reversal line, 79.44, and a last call trigger zone number 2 at 79.81. Now, if we have any bargain hunters out there, right? If we have any bargain hunters, there's an easy extension up to that 79. So if you're a buyer right now, right? If you are bullish on this crude, right? Even though long term is down, for whatever reason you're thinking to be a buyer right now on crude, 79s, right? 79.06. That's your buyer's target for tomorrow on crude. If you're a seller with me tomorrow, I've got targets here at 76.23 and I've got $75 a barrel. It's staring you right in the face for that next target down. Again, my gut tells me tomorrow we go range bound. And here is why. Let's take a look at our news for tomorrow. And we look at this news for tomorrow and we see we do not have to go very long here, guys. We got some major news coming out this evening, right? So Tuesday evening, we've got some major news here. Let me zoom in a little bit closer on this. And we see here that we have our good friends in China with their PMI composite, right? Manufacturing number tonight at 8:45 p.m. So 8:45 p.m., be ready for action coming out of China. That tells me be ready for the Asian session overnight and the London session early tomorrow morning. Be ready for big moves during that time. What happens is news comes out in China and then the London session opens at 3 a.m. Eastern time and everybody starts to digest, everybody starts to react. What about news in London? As you can see, we have a look at all this news. We have a whole plethora of news events tomorrow morning, all in the London session. 3:15, 3:50, 3:55, 4 o'clock, 4:30, deep breath, 5 o'clock, right, for retails. I mean, literally 2 hours of straight news. Now, besides the retail sales at 5 o'clock, this is all Red Star news. All of it. So we have no shortage of some firepower tomorrow morning in that London session. We got manufacturing news out of China, and then we go, right, which is huge. Remember, we're talking about China here. That's all they do is manufacture and export, right? There's no tourism there, I'll tell you that much. Okay, and they're definitely not the most culinarily, is that a word? Culinarily advanced? I don't think so. Anyways, luckily I'm a teacher of day trading and not the English language. Okay, so we got a ton of news here tonight and tomorrow in the U.S. session. And then, hello, knock, knock, that's ADP employment. Now, why do I care about that? That's not a Red Star news event. That number tomorrow morning at 8:15 is a big deal. It's a big, did I say big? A big deal. Now, it's not going to move the markets very much. You're not going to notice the market move at 8:15 tomorrow morning. So what am I going for here, Joe? What's the point? Well, we have this little teeny tiny news report called non-farm payrolls on Friday. No, it's not teeny tiny at all. In fact, it's the biggest, broadest, most robustest, another English word I don't think I got right there, but it's a big deal. Non-farm payrolls is the biggest news event that we get as traders, right? Yes, it's more important than GDP. Yes, it's more important than FOMC. Yes, it is extremely important. And on Wednesday morning, before Non-Farm Payroll Friday, and Non-Farm Payroll Friday is the first Friday of every 1 month, we are going to hear from the ADP employment report, which is usually, not always, but usually extremely close to what happens on that Friday. Now, the reason why you don't see much of a reaction to it is because you're going to start to see over the next 24 hours after that news comes out, you'll start seeing major trading institutions, large brokerage, right? Big money traders will start to slowly adjust. And the reason why they do it slowly is because they don't want to tip off their competitors. right? Goldman Sachs can't just sell at 8:16 tomorrow morning. If they do, everyone else in the world's going to go, wow, Goldman's dropping all that volume, huh? They must know something we don't know, right? They don't want to telegraph, right, what they're doing. So you'll see them scale in or scale out after that news comes out. So it's not going to affect the market too much. But just you wait, though. That usually is a very big leading indication for Friday's news report. Okay, we've got minor news here at 9:45, middle of the road news at 10 o'clock tomorrow here in the U.S. So really, it's 8:15 and 10 o'clock for the kind of the big news tomorrow morning, and then we've got the crude inventories. Wah wah wah. This is why I said big range today on crude will most likely result in a relatively narrow range tomorrow on crude, right? Big day today, narrow day tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. And then we've got this petroleum status report, okay, which is basically, it's basically a huge warning sign that tomorrow morning is going to be pretty challenging on crude oil until after that news comes out. There are quite a few traders out there, guys, that don't even touch crude on Wednesdays. Okay, because it's one of the only news events that only affects one market. What's the other news event? There are actually two news events that only affect one market. Yeah, one of them is inventories on crude. The next one happens the day after. Natural gas inventories. Same time, same place, just the next day. So we have inventories tomorrow at 10:30. That tells me be very patient with crude oil. Okay, be very patient tomorrow, you scalpers on crude, before 10:30. And then my plan is always the same. I'm going to wait and sit on my hands from 10:15 a.m. until about 10:40 a.m. tomorrow. I'll let some other poor sucker try to trade that inventory report. I am not going to trade that news report. I never trade news. I trade 5 to 10 minutes after that news. I trade the reaction. Bottom line, tomorrow morning, though, be careful on crude. After 10:40, okay, 10 minutes after that news comes out, then my job is to stay patient, find a new short-term trend, and follow that new short-term trend. And one last thing about the news for crude oil tomorrow. Be aware that the initial reaction to the news tomorrow at 10:30 is oftentimes the wrong reaction. So what you'll typically see, right, we get the news that comes out, everything goes crazy, right, price jumps up, traps in all those buyers, and then guys like me are waiting to sell it, right, as we go lower. So don't take the bait, right, and follow that initial knee-jerk reaction, right, fade that reaction. If it jumps up, look to be a seller. But again, stay patient tomorrow on crude. We'll talk more about the news we have tomorrow night. We've got major news from Japan, Australia tomorrow night. We'll talk more about that tomorrow night. But as of right now, though, big news here tonight. Big news here tonight in China, 8:45. Big, tons of news tomorrow in London. And of course, we got that ADP employment report at 8:15. That will give us kind of the heads up, right, for Friday's non-farm payrolls. We've got 10 o'clock ISM non-manufacturing, and then again, we're going to wait through that inventory report on crude. Be careful tomorrow, guys. Be careful tomorrow. Gold is consolidating, crude is consolidating, and remember we talked about the Russell, right? The Russell has to get going here. The Russell is right at that spot right now where those buyers should be reacting. Guys, don't forget, we call trades live every day in our trade room. If you need help with this stuff, don't do this on your own. Come out and see me tomorrow as a new student here at School of Trade, and I would love to teach you exactly how to get in, get out of these trades, and do so without a lot of risk and a whole bunch of reward. Guys, don't forget, we offer a free trial here at School of Trade, right? We get a 1-week trial. I will gladly extend your trial if you're a student of ours in the past and you'd like to go check it out one more time. Don't forget to send us an email on that. We'll offer 3 levels of membership: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. We have a level of membership that fits everyone's desire here, guys. And don't forget, we've got someone standing by here 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to give you guys some help. Guys and gals, we are the longest running, most successful, fastest growing trading education website on the planet. Don't take my word for it. Find out why more people are joining schooloftrade.com right now than any other trading website. It's not because I'm the best newsletter guy, I'll tell you that much. Take the free trial, give us a call in the office. Let's get you under control of your career, get you making new all-time highs in your trade account. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today. Don't forget to download the charts for today. Grab your free pass, join the newsletter, and I will see you same time, same place. Tomorrow morning, we open up our live trade room at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And if I don't see you there, I'll see you back here same time, same place for tomorrow night's newsletter. My name is Joseph. Have yourself a great day, everyone. Don't forget to vote. We'll see you in the morning. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.